Hello, I am the Story Girl, and welcome to the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses. There once was a soldier, a fairly young soldier who had seen his fare of soldiering but now had no war to fight in, and so he was walking along the road seeking his fortune in the world. Well, it just so happens as he was walking along, he happened upon a very old woman, an old wrinkled hag by the side of the road, who plucked at his ankles as he passed and said, "Please, sir, do you have a crust of bread you could spare?" Well, the soldier knew enough of the world to know that a crust of bread was not very much, and that he could spare as many as he had. "Oh, my good grandmother," this is how people talked in old times. Even if she wasn't his grandmother, she was the age of grandmothers. "Oh, my dear grandmother, you may share whatever victuals I have." And he took a full meal of bread and cheese out of his bag and gave it to her freely. "You are very kind," said the old woman. "When you venture up the road, you will find a kingdom with a king with 12 daughters. And he is in a bit of a fix, but if you play your cards right, you will marry a princess." And the old woman disappeared. Completely disappeared from the side of the road. Well, the young soldier was taken aback. He saw that she had left something behind. 2 little seeds. He picked them up and he took a look at them. He couldn't identify them. Being a soldier, they're apples and oranges for him, but if she had left them behind, he thought they might come in handy, so he tucked them away inside of his pouch. And he continued off down the road. And as he was going down the road, he heard horses driving and criers crying, "The daughters of the king! The daughters of the king! Any man who is a prince or a noble or owns a piece of land can come see if they can discover the secret." Well, this was a surprising announcement and didn't make a bit of sense to him, and so he walked through the town introducing himself to townspeople and asking what in the world was the trouble with the king's 12 daughters. "Haven't you heard? Every single evening the princesses receive a brand new pair of dancing slippers." "Oh, well, that seems like it would fetch quite a price, and you'd eventually have a lot of shoes," said the soldier. "You don't understand," said the townspeople. "Every morning, the king goes into his daughter's rooms to find those shoes that had been brand new the day before are completely worn through with holes in the bottom. Holes all the way through to the bottom, and so he orders each daughter a brand new pair of dancing slippers. But he is fed up with the purchasing of dancing slippers every day, and he is going to get to the bottom of it. This: any prince, duke, count, nobleman, or squire with a fairly large patch of land can come and try their hand at discovering what is happening to make his daughter's shoes wear through. The daughters won't say. They won't give up their secret. But each time a young man accepts the challenge, they disappear." "Disappear?" said the soldier. "Yes, but the king is not discouraged. He sends out his proclamation every day to far and distant kingdoms. Perhaps one day a cunning young man will come and discover the secret of the slippers. If he does, he will have his choice of the 12 princesses to wed. Oh. The soldier thought it over. Seemed a fine thing to have a princess for a wife. But then again, princesses that caused so much trouble and required dancing shoes every single day seemed to him to be the sort of person he wanted to steer clear of as far as wives were concerned. But as he was talking amongst the people in town, he found out that there was a position open in the king's own gardens. He went up to the head gardener and applied for the position and was accepted as the new garden boy. And he was set to work weeding the gardens and pruning the trees and keeping very close watch over all of the new flowers blooming. And as a very special appointment, one of his jobs was to collect a fresh bouquet of flowers to present to the princesses every morning. And so every morning he rose early and gathered the 12 bouquets, placed them in a basket, and took them up to the castle, to the princesses' rooms, where he handed each princess their own bouquet. And the princesses knew better than to look into the eyes of a poor, humble, meager garden boy, except for the youngest, who was just about 18. She saw a very handsome young man handing her her bouquet. She looked into his deep brown eyes and thought, what kind eyes? What cunning eyes? Look at her, said one of her older sisters. I think she might be in love. Oh, she blushed and covered her face with her blankets. But the soldier, now garden boy, took no notice. He went about his chores, but kept his ears and eyes open. He saw new suitors coming day by day, princes and lords from different countries and capitals coming to try their hand at discovering the princess's secret. One by one, each one disappeared. It would be a fine thing to figure out their secret. But as I am not a nobleman, certainly don't have a patch of land to myself, I shan't be able to discover their secret. So he went on with his gardening. One day, he thought to show the head gardener the 2 seeds he had found from the disappeared hag. Huh, said the head gardener. Where did you come by these? Oh, I found them by the side of the road, said the soldier. These are rose seeds. Not just any rose seeds, oh no. These are the secret seeds of asking. Asking? Yes. If you care for them and grow the flowers to maturity, they will grant you whatever you wish. Whatever you wish for the asking. Seems like a fine thing to have. If only I had a bit of ground. For those beautiful roses to be growing in this garden, I will give you a piece of land, said the gardener, and he cleared out a special space of the finest soil. This is yours, said the head gardener to the soldier. Plant your roses here, and we shall see what becomes of them. Well, the soldier thought it was as good an idea as any, so he planted them deep in the soil, cared for them by watering them every day, and much sooner than you would expect, little rose plants began to grow up out of the fertile soil. They grew and grew and grew until they had reached the height of the soldier, and he could see the little rosebuds, one white roses, one red roses. And he whispered to the roses, Roses, I have cared for you these many weeks. Make me invisible. The moment he said it, all of the red roses snapped open with a beautiful flush of roses, and one rose plucked itself up and floated towards the soldier while he grasped it in his hand and put it in his buttonhole. The moment the rose touched the cloth, his whole body vanished from sight. The rose made him invisible. I know just what I will do with this, thought the soldier. That night, he stayed awake and watchful, with the rose tucked in his buttonhole, and he crept up to the princess's room. It was all dark. It was all quiet. All the princesses appeared to be asleep until the voice of the clock rang out the midnight hour. And all of the princesses popped out of their beds, jumped to the floor, and he saw that instead of wearing night dresses, they were all dressed in their finest dancing costumes, in their beautiful jewelry and gowns, each one of them wearing a brand new set of dancing slippers. And they were twittering excitedly and putting on their gloves and tiaras. "The time has come, my sisters," said the eldest. "Time for us to dance." She clapped her hands together, and a secret trap door popped open in the middle of their bedrooms. And in order, eldest to youngest, they picked up their hems and swept down the secret stairs. Well, the soldier was very fast to follow, so fast, in fact, that he accidentally trod on the back of the youngest sister's dress. "Oh," she said. "What is it?" said the eldest sister. "Oh, I just felt," she looked around but saw no one. "I believe I just felt someone step on the back of my skirt." "Ha ha ha!" laughed the other sisters. "You silly girl, you simply caught your skirt on a nail as you were passing." "Oh, that must have been it." The youngest sister kept very careful watch. She knew it had been the foot of a person trotting on her dress. Well, the line of sisters rushed through a beautiful underground garden. The soldier looked around and saw that the trees were growing of full silver branches with beautiful silver leaves glistening in the moonlight. They rushed on until they entered another garden, this one full of golden trees and flowers and golden birds singing in the trees. They rushed to the final garden, which was filled with diamonds. Trees that were growing beautiful diamond fruits and sparkling, glistening bark of pure diamond. The soldier's breath was taken by the beauty, but he hadn't a moment to enjoy it, for the sisters had rushed right through this garden to the lake, a great lake, and he could see in the center of the lake was a great dance pavilion full of light and music, with the smell of food wafting over the lake. And there by the shore, waiting, standing by 12 little boats, were 12 princes, dressed for dancing, wearing crowns with dark eyes. Each princess stepped into their own little boat. As soon as they had, the prince standing by stepped into the boat and began to push them across the lake. Well, the soldier wouldn't be left behind from this. He leapt into the boat of the youngest sister. "Oh, what was that?" said the prince that was rowing her boat. "I do not know," said the youngest sister. "It seems to be a strange evening this evening. Oh, the boat is so heavy for rowing." Well, the youngest sister's boat did lag behind with the extra weight of the soldier, but by and by, every boat made its way across this lake to the dance pavilion in the center, a great flat dance floor with pillars and hanging baskets of fruit, beautiful, and music coming from everywhere. On the dance floor, there were milling about Men of all different races and kinds and shapes and statures, all of them dressed for dancing, with dark, vacant eyes. The music started up a lively jig, and every princess went to her dance partner, and they danced the night away, jigging and waltzing and samba and salsa and cha-cha, every dance that the soldier knew and some that he had to learn. He danced alongside, and as he was dancing, he let out a little whoop of happiness, for dancing was one of the things he liked best. It just so happened that the youngest sister heard his little slip. What was that? I'm sure it was nothing. And she continued to dance. When the dancing was over, a great feast was held, with a place for every princess and every suitor who was sitting around. They ate of the finest fruits and sweetmeats, of candies and chocolates, and of the deepest, darkest grape juice. Wow. The soldier could see that the light was on the horizon, coming on. "It is time to go," said the eldest princess, and each of the princesses leapt nimbly into their little boats, and their princes pulled them across the lake once more. And they rushed through the diamond garden, they rushed through the golden garden, they rushed through the silver garden. But before they left the silver garden, the soldier snapped off a branch from one of the trees and tucked it away. "What was that?" said the youngest sister. "What was what? You were hearing nothing. It was only a bird in the trees." And they climbed the steps back to their bedroom, slipped out of their ball gowns into their nightgowns, and slipped into bed with their dancing shoes worn through with holes in the bottom. Well, the soldier quickly slipped out of their room as quickly as he could, rushed down to the gardens so that he could prepare the bouquets of flowers for the princesses. But that morning, the youngest sister got a surprise in her bouquet. As she was enjoying the sweet fragrance of roses, she looked down and saw there was a twig from a silver tree tucked in her bouquet. That night, as she and her sisters went down to their special dance pavilion, she kept her eyes wide, looking around, seeing if the soldier had followed. But she didn't see a thing. She danced the night away, and for a few short minutes while she was dancing, she forgot all of her worries and fears, for there was nothing she loved more in the world than dancing. But the next morning, when the soldier handed her bouquet, there was a twig from a golden branch. Well, she was going to have none of this. She went down to the gardens that very afternoon. "Garden boy," she said. "Yes, Your Highness," and he bowed deferentially. "I know." "You know?" "I know that you've been following us." "If you know that I've been following you, then it must be so." And he went back to his weeding. "Aren't you going to tell my father?" "No, I have no intention of doing so." "Don't you know that you could have your pick of my sisters or I if you gave away our secret?" "I know full well, but I am just a garden boy, too lowly for the notice of a princess." The princess looked up and she saw some of her sisters in the distance, tittering behind their hands. She rushed to join them. "Oh, sister, are you planning on becoming the wife of a gardener?" "Princess, the wife of a gardener," and she blushed scarlet. Oh, they'd seen her with the garden boy. She didn't know what to do. She danced, but she didn't feel a bit happy about it. She looked around, but couldn't see the soldier anywhere. She searched her bouquet the next morning and found just flowers. But she was sure he had been there. She was sure of it. Finally, she told her eldest sister what she had learned. How could he have learned our secret? We would have seen him. We would have known. I don't know how he knows, but I know he was there. I know he was there. And she showed her the golden and silver twigs. We'll talk about this as sisters. No one must know our secret. That night, the sisters held a meeting. No one must know our secret. No one must know the joy we feel when we dance. If this man insists on following us, we will insist that he joins us, and we will give him the drink. The magic drink that draws the will out from a man and replaces it only with the desire to dance. For this is what the sisters had done with every single suitor that had come to their castle. They were nothing but dancing puppets down underneath in their underground world. The next day, the eldest princess approached the garden boy. Garden boy, we know that you've been spying on us. If you love following us so much, follow us tomorrow. Only no tricks this time. This time you will dance and you will feast with us. Your Highness, I am nothing more than a simple farm garden boy. Doesn't matter. Not even a garden boy can know our secret. Very well, I will come. And he went back to weeding the garden. Well, the soldier didn't want to go to a fine dance dressed as a garden boy. He went to his rose bushes and he whispered, "Dress me as a prince." And the white roses burst into bloom, and a single white rose floated towards him. When he put the rose in his buttonhole, his clothing was transformed into the most regal attire, better than any prince that had visited the castle yet. He walked right to the front door of the castle and rapped on the front door. The steward of the castle came and opened the door. "Oh, your Highness, surely you are a prince here to discover the princess's secret." "Yes, I am," said the princely soldier garden boy. "Yes, I have come. I have come to try for the hand of the princesses." Come in, come in, come in," said the steward, and he presented him to the king. And the king thought, "Oh, another young boy, but will this boy finally figure out the secret? We shall see." Well, he had a fine supper with the king, and that night he waited in the room just next to the princess's rooms. As they had arranged previously, the princesses rapped on his door when they were ready, and he stepped out, wearing the finest of dancing costumes. He offered his arm to the eldest princess, who took it, and they went away to their secret gardens and dance pavilions. And the soldier danced. He danced with every sister in turn, and they found him to be a better partner than any prince they had danced with so far. Last, but certainly not least, he danced with the youngest princess. "Well, you are here, you are finally dancing with us instead of just watching us." "Yes, I have," said the soldier. "And you will never marry a garden boy." She gasped. That night, they enjoyed their feast together, and as an honor to their special guest, the eldest sister brought forth a special goblet. "Here's a drink for you, garden boy, that you may dance with us for many nights to come." The sisters did not know it, but the soldier knew what was in the cup. He knew, for he had been invisible at the time of the sisters' secret meeting, and he had decided he would rather dance for eternity with these princesses than live any other life. He would do it. He took the cup. The youngest sister cried out, "No! Don't drink. I would rather be the wife of a gardener." All around them, the pavilion began to shake, the waters began to rumble. All of the princes opened their eyes and looked around. "Where are we?" they all said. "We must run," said the eldest sister, and they ran to the boats, every single one, some of them swimming, all of them rowing as fast as they could, running as the land began to crumble all around them. Up they went to the top of the stairs. All of the suitors and the princesses and the garden boy. "What happened?" said the soldier. "It's her fault," said the eldest sister. "Our magical world would only last as long as all of us were unmarried and maids and untouched by love. But the moment her heart filled with love for you, we could not have our magic world anymore." "What a shame," said the soldier. "Well, I must go. I must go and meet with the king." He went to the king and explained everything about the beautiful gardens and the dance pavilions and his daughters dancing the night away, doing what they loved best. He showed him the silver branch, the gold branch, and a piece of diamond fruit. "My boy, you have discovered the secret. You may marry whichever of my daughters you choose. I will marry none of them unless they choose me willingly." The door opened, and there stood the youngest daughter. "I choose you," she said, and rushed to him. The next day, there was a grand wedding. The wedding of the soldier turned garden boy, now prince of the land, to the love of his life, the youngest princess. And the first thing he did when he became prince, he built a special pavilion in the middle of a lake where he and his bride could go and dance the night away whenever they wished it. The end. I am a story girl, and I have danced the night away so many times, but never so much that my shoes had holes in them. In the story, you may have noticed that we had a soldier as a hero. And just like we talked about when we did Bearskin, that was so long ago, the soldier was more intelligent and wiser than anybody else and figured out the secret. Why is that? Why do you think? Thank you for joining the story today. If you like this story, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram, The Story Girl. Remember that story with an I. If you love stories as much as I do, I challenge you to make up a story of your own and tell it to somebody. In a few weeks, we are going to be making up a story of our own right here on this channel, and I want you to be ready. Bye.